So how to acquire a new vocabulary till perfection? Because I mean, I did this super unconsciously, and I think that if you actually do this consciously and you're kind of like aware of the things that you're doing, you will be able to do the thing that I did way more efficient. So yeah, that's cool. So it seems also that people got to know me because of some polarizing opinions that I have about Anki, which doesn't really matter. Whatever. These are my credentials if you don't know me. And I'm basically introducing self-improvement to this fucked up language learning community because there's people right now that literally can't study because they get addicted to weird methods of learning a language like anime. There's probably people learning languages with porn right now also. So yeah, video games too, all of those things, right? Wherever, I guess. So first, making immersion efficient at the start. So you can't really make immersion efficient at the start if your comprehension percentage is not good. So how do you get it up without doing that much? First, get this statement out of your mind. Why I say this? Because whenever you try to do something without that much effort, that could basically end up making you someone who doesn't really like putting effort. And the point of the channel is literally you being able to put effort on something that is productive and that you like, right? And at some point, you will become the type of person who likes putting effort. So the thing that you will do is basically watch an anime. And that anime, you're going to basically repeat it, right? But not how you think. There's actually some steps to this, right? So at least you will do this for like what, 2 to 3 hours if you have the time. If you don't have the time, well, maybe you shouldn't be watching this video. Who knows? And when it comes to language acquisition, the most important aspect is repetition. Okay, so you need to have that in mind. The most important aspect is repetition. So I did systematic comprehensible input, which is the method that I'm basically talking about right now, and the method that this guy called Michael actually, this guy called Michael basically coined this method. Like he was the first of making this method, and I think that right now it's probably the most efficient method of learning a language because it basically makes you do deliberate practice or deliberate study, whatever you want to call it, and this is basically the most efficient way of learning whatever thing that you want. So I did this unconsciously in my English and Japanese, so I'm going to tell you this story very quickly. So basically in my English, I made these videos, right? And since the first videos that I made didn't have my face, I could read and kind of like fake it. I could literally kind of fake it that I was saying the things, but in reality, I was literally just reading until I kind of like didn't stutter in the video or those things, right? And in my Japanese, well, this was the way in which I actually did it. So first, I watched whatever anime. It doesn't really matter what anime you watch. Learn almost all pieces of vocab in that anime. That's very important. And make that anime an audio file and hear that audio file for lots of time after watching it, of course, so you have some context of the things that you're hearing, right? So I basically did that unconsciously, and the thing that happened is that basically I did it mostly with this anime, but like there's other ones here. So Monster, well, this is actually a drama. This is actually another drama. This is another anime, Made in Abyss, Lovely Complex, Little Witch Academy. But the one I did it the most with was Kusuriya no Hitorikoto. And so what happened here? I watched first Kusuriya no Hitorikoto, and then I also read the light novels. And so I knew basically all of the vocabulary when it comes to this anime. And literally, I just made a condensed audio of that anime. And so basically, if you don't know what a condensed audio is, it's very simple. Literally, it just removes the empty spaces of the anime in which no one is talking, and just basically puts the audio in which people are talking in the anime. Because you know for a fact that sometimes in the anime people are just fighting or there are some times in which you just watch on a scene and there's nothing in that scene, no one is talking. And so in those times, you are not doing immersion, right? And so making a condensed audio of the anime that you want to watch is really important because you only want to hear things. You don't want to like be hearing a fight of JoJo in which the guy is saying ura 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 ura. Ura. Like, of course, you're not learning Japanese on those times, right? So that is important. And I repeated it like what 10 times in like 2 weeks. So that's like 10, yeah, 10, 50 hours, 20 hours more or less, right? And I, of course, ended up learning all of the vocabulary. I ended up even like reviewing the kanjis that I didn't know, like the listening of that kanji. I mean, I did know the meaning of that kanji, right? But I didn't hear it. So it's very important for you to actually just hear and also read, right? This is probably the most important, the most efficient way of learning a language whenever you have some a comprehension on the language. So why this works? So according to science, you need like 200 repetitions to always remember the word. Sorry, I forgot to say one thing here, which is that reading the light novel and watching the anime is really important because you can mind the vocabulary. And so there's people who mind that vocabulary. I'm going to say to you after how to mind this in a more efficient way, which is basically not using Anki. But you can also use Anki. I don't really have anything against using Anki. People think I do. But in reality, I just think it's inefficient. But in reality, if you use it correctly, you will probably learn vocabulary. Like I actually did learn lots of vocabulary with Anki. So yeah, basically I mind a lot of vocabulary, repeated in Anki, same with the anime. Right, so do that and also hear the anime a lot so you basically memorize that vocabulary, right? So why this works, according to science, you need like 200 repetitions, so always remember that word. So 40 to speak them in whatever scenario, but since you actually don't really care about like speaking words from an anime, you just care about learning that vocab, it'll be just like 20 repetitions, so you don't really have to care that much about it, honestly. So you can do this with various animes because I mean, if you're just watching pure Kazuya, you are going to get honestly kind of tired, right? So you can do this with various animes, preferably on the same genre. So basically, if you're doing just pure isekai, watch pure isekai, right? Maybe you're, yeah, as I told you, maybe you're just tired of hearing Kazuya 10 times, right? So in order to speak, I don't consider this really efficient per se. To learn the vocab of these sources, yeah, this is probably the most efficient way of learning vocab when it comes to anime, like novels, all of the things, right? And this is actually how I learned like most of the kanjis. I have a vocabulary of like, what, 3,000 kanjis, 2,500 kanjis, something like that, right? Which I'm going to explain. I'm going to talk about that in another video. So last really good tip, man, you need to know this guy. This guy is basically made, he basically made this website, which is honestly really good. So basically, what I did in this website is that here you can make your own deck, right? And this deck you can actually put some text of the anime that you're watching. So for example, let's say Kusuriya, and basically what I did is I downloaded some episodes. I downloaded the text of the subtitle, right? And I basically add to new deck, right? And you will paste the text in here. You will create the deck, and you will have this. And the awesome thing about this, right, is that you can literally put basically SRS system in here in the Kaitenji thing, and the SRS system is basically customized for you, right? Which is very, very good. So also you have these things in which you can put like the GLPT level of the word. This is incredible. This is incredible, honestly. I don't know how this guy is giving all of this for free, to be honest. So literally you have all of these things. You can even like go like it's just, man, this is just awesome, right? And what I would like to do in here, for me in specific, and I will think that it's actually going to be way more efficient for you, right? Is that you create some type of a spreadsheet. This is basically a systematic comprehensible input, right? You let's just create some type of a spreadsheet, right? And in this spreadsheet, you will end up like adding the words or the words that you know in this of this anime, right? And so, for example, let's say that you want to learn some vocabulary in the GLPT1 level. So we will go to whatever words, let's say, I don't know, whatever, this one. And I will end up copying like every one of them. Like one of them, of course, like not like that, but like you get the point. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to waste so much time. But yeah, whatever word that you see here that you know, you will end up adding it to some spreadsheet, and it will more or less look like this, right? So you basically more or less will look like this, okay? And what you can do is either find the sentence using that word, or you can basically grab it from here. You grab the sentence, you grab the word, and you grab the sentence using the word, right? And you will basically add it in here. So what I do in here, this is kind of different, but it's kind of the same at the same time. So grab the word, grab the sentence, grab the meaning. And what you will do is you will use it, basically, right? You will repeat that word again and again and again, and you will listen to it again and again and again. Listen to it, read it aloud if you want. I don't know, make an audio file of it, which there's this website specific. There's lots of website, but this is the one I use. Right. You can go to this website and basically make an audio file of all of the things that you hear. So for example, these are the sentences that I'm studying today. You make an audio file of these sentences, right? You make the audio file, here you have it. So an example will be this audio file that I have right here. I have literally the audio files of all of the study sessions that I did. And so now I will hear it, I will watch the meaning, and I hear it. So I hear it, watch the meaning, hear it, watch the meaning, hear it, watch the meaning, hear it, watch the meaning. And yeah, this is boring, of course, but whenever you're going to watch the anime, you can do this before you watch the anime, right? So you basically graph at least like, let's say 50 words, 100 words, or even like 200, 300 words. You study them, right? And then after studying them for like 1 week, 3 days, more or less, I think that 300 words, yeah, you can basically study them in like what? 3 days? Yeah, 3 days, 4 days, without that much time while doing this method, right? Without that much time, maybe 2 to 3 hours. And basically you hear them, watch them, hear them, watch them. You do like, as I said to you, 200 repetitions of that. So 200 repetitions of hearing them. Maybe you want to even say them out loud. Although if you don't have that much level, maybe you don't want to do that. All of those things, right? And of course, if you repeat them like 20 times, 30 times, at some point it will literally just become automatic. And you also have the audio files of it. So whenever you go to a gym, you can listen to that audio file. Whenever you go to whatever thing, I don't know, whenever you're cleaning your house, you listen to that audio file. And when you go to watch the anime, it will basically become way, way more enjoyable, right? Imagine this, which is basically that you're working so hard, right? You're working really hard to understand that anime, and then you go watch that anime and you basically can understand it like, I don't know, a 30 to 40% more. I think on top of this, on top of this being way more efficient, it also is way more like, how would you say the word? It makes you feel better, right? For lack of a better term. And yeah, basically this website is just like awesome. You should basically use it. It's like an Anki. It's a better Anki, as I said to you. And bro, this guy, awesome guy, right? So let's keep with this. Okay. Go to this video, please. Anki wasn't enough, so he basically made his own Anki, which is basically a better version of Anki right now. So let's go to next. How to not burn out. Don't think about not getting burned out. Be willing to get burned out, actually. So what do I mean for this? First, think about this for some seconds, right? Why is it to be willing to burn out? So this is something that the self-improvement, like people in self-improvement talk about this a lot. So if you're not willing to burn out, you will never know your limits. And there's people who are really, really scared of getting burned out. This month, I probably got burned out like unconsciously, honestly, like 5 to 6 times. So I'm going to upload a video in which I talk, in which I basically, I'm sick literally. Like I'm just kind of getting out of a sickness right now. And in that video, I talk about, I basically studied for 6 hours straight on that day. And literally, I'm sick as fuck. I can't talk. If you see the video that I uploaded yesterday, you will see that my voice is just fucked up in every way. Even the video that I uploaded like 2 days ago, even like you can see myself like literally doing this in my nose every time. And yeah, I got burned out like 4 to 5 times, more or less. But will I be able to surpass my limits if I were not willing to actually burn out? Probably not, right? And so I say this because there's people who think that they can't study for more than 3 to 4 hours. And in reality, that's not true. You have the same brain as I do. Okay? I'm not special. I'm a fucking Venezuelan who doesn't have money right now. Right? I'm not special. I'm able to study for 6 hours, 7 hours. I enjoy putting effort. You can achieve this same thing too. It's just that basically you are not used to it, right? And the first piece of the mindset that you actually do need to not get burned out by doing all of these things that I explained to you today, not that, is basically be willing to get burned out. Even if you get burned out, you're not going to get depressed. You're not going to hate watching anime. None of those things will happen. Believe me, it doesn't work like that. So, if you actually do get burned out, the thing that will happen is that day, for example, yesterday, I just didn't want to study, and literally I just said, okay, you're sick. You literally can't even use your voice. And so he said, okay, let's just give myself this day. It's fine. Like, I'm probably burned out today. I don't realize it. You don't realize you're probably burned out. I just didn't realize it. And I just said, okay, I'm probably burned out. That's probably something that is true. And he said, okay, well, let's just not study for today, like the rest of the day, right? Because it's like, there's nothing that I could do about it. And that's it. That's literally what I did. And literally, and literally right now, today, it's what? 7 a.m. I scripted like what? 5 videos for the week. And now I'm recording a video at 7 fucking a.m. I studied for like 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm using this stay with me type of streamings. This is actually very good. Like if you kind of struggle with like starting again after some type of break, I will say that you use these kinds of things. So I use this, and this guy every 2 hours takes a break of 15 minutes, sorry. And this basically, it's kind of like some type of, how would you say, accountability. Fake accountability, but it works. So if you struggle with starting again a task, you should use this. And yeah, basically be willing to burn out, because if not, you will basically not know your limits. And this is the most important thing if you want to actually be able to study for more than 4 to 5 hours. Right? And so that's it for the video. Check the first link in the description if you want to join my community, which is the Not Pussy program. And in here, I teach things that are very similar to this. And you have a community of people who are basically learning languages and are on self-improvement, who are very similar to you. Thank you.